Hello. Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the court of the Edijester. It's a bit chilly this morning. I am therefore, as the British would say, ruddy-faced. Or, as hateful little scroats might say, I look like gammon. A wonderful offensive term for older men who are white and indignant at the state of the world. Just about sums me up, I think. Today, I'm going to talk to you about free speech. Not because I thought it might be fun. There's nothing fun about free speech. It is vital. It is the lifeblood. It is the heart of any country. We are in serious trouble on that front. There's nothing worse than an attempt to silence people, but yet the Online Safety Act and more that will come out in the next few months, I'm certain, will show that Britain has a crisis when it comes to free speech. The antithesis of free speech is censorship, in whatever form it takes. It is never a good thing. It cannot be a good thing, and it should be resisted at all costs. Digital ID is at the heart of the censorship capabilities of the British state. In other words, if we allow digital ID, we allow censorship. It's game over. But what's fascinating, as well as the Granite Act, which I talked to you about the other day, which is the Granite Act is going to prevent censorship of American firms, and it will do so globally, will be of great help if it can manage to be passed in America. And I think other countries will follow suit. The Brits could do well to do the same thing, but they won't under the reign of Keir Starmer, who is absolutely hell-bent, along with off-communists and their other nonsense makers, on controlling speech. This control of speech goes further than simply saying you can't look at X or you won't get to read Y. One of the greatest and worst egregious takes on free speech is when people are visited for no apparent reason by the police, usually a large number of them, and then whipped away. The process becomes the punishment. Therefore, they don't need to get you prosecuted. They just need to put you through the ringer. And that is exactly what they're doing, to the tune of 1,000 people a month, from what I'm being told. That's quite extraordinary. I checked the figures, and it looks like that's right. 1,000 people a month in the UK are being arrested for speech crimes. That's 1,000 people. Let's assume 800 of them have children, 800 of them have loved ones that they live with, 800 of them have jobs that they have to do. And every month, without fail, it looks like, the British state is causing disruption to their lives in order to silence their speech. But wanting free speech and having free speech are two different things. We have to expect to have free speech for those we dislike and those who say things that we don't want to hear. Free speech does not, of course, mean being given a platform, but it does mean making an argument, and an argument that is forceful enough to rise to the surface and become part of the media milieu. The danger of that is when the media does what the media has been doing, which is talks nonsense and guff, for example, about men being women, or distorts and lies by changing videos. This is not something that a modern society should be doing or tolerating. Neither is having free speech really a thing that's designed to prevent anything other than the ability to take something and put it through the machine, if you like, the washing machine of free speech, and ridicule it, hold it up, probe its soft underbelly, and destroy it forever. There is one fly in the ointment that makes it difficult for free speech to win, particularly if it's under attack, is that our tolerance for the intolerable has got to the point where it is just obscene. Now, for example, in that I would include the tolerance of trans, the tolerance of critical race theory, the tolerance of critical this, critical that, whatever it may be. We cannot tolerate an attack upon the paradigm upon which we live, which is the Western canon, the Enlightenment, all the stuff that comes with it. Now, I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it. I know you're bored, but I'm going to keep saying it. What's particularly interesting is that Telegraph have reported today that Donald Trump, Orange Man Bad, Donald Trump, and his folks over there in the USA are looking at having an asylum program for British people who are under duress from the state for their speech. This is an interesting proposition, but my goodness me, it doesn't half make me embarrassed to be British. And I imagine it might well make you embarrassed to be British too. That a place like America has to offer asylum to the people of Britain against its own government. Where the hell are we? Well, we're heading down a route that we've seen before in various other countries. And although people talk about it being hyperbolic to talk about tyranny and communism and equity and all the stuff that comes with it, but the truth of the matter is, if you're orientated in that direction, which is what we seem to be, then you are in trouble. We're heading to the edge of a cliff. So I'm quite intrigued to know what you make of this. What do you think about Trump offering asylum to people in America from Britain on the basis of a tax on free speech? And what do you think the Granite Act will mean? Interesting times. But never forget that without free speech, nothing else will happen. Nothing else matters. Women's rights would never have been achieved. The fight against EDI, DEI would be ended. When something in power or someone in power begins to lose grip of that power, when the curtain is being drawn back and the wizard is being revealed, that is when it becomes at its most deadly. History tells us this. It is there. It is straightforward enough to understand the orientation that led to those historical tragedies. Maybe it's time to be less tolerant of the intolerant. We should not be giving a platform to people who think men can be women. It's insane. We should not be giving a platform to people who think that you're either racist or anti-racist in that totalitarian thought system that is anti-racism. We should not be giving a platform to any of these people, because the paradigm we live under is the Western paradigm, and the Western paradigm is reliant upon the Enlightenment and everything it brings. But maybe you think differently, and I will be glad to hear from you about what you think differently about it. That's about it, really. If you want to join the Warrior Teacher Program, the Winning Mindset, give us a buzz. Just, message me on Twitter or hashtag me in or whatever the hell it is you have to do. And we'll get together for a chat. I'm going to put together a meeting next year while I have a little bit of a break heading up towards December. So you have a grand day, but give some thought to the fact that without free speech, there is no free thought. And without no free thought, we have nothing. Literally nothing. Maybe Trump's right. Perhaps we do need somewhere that we can claim asylum from the leftist hellhole that Keir Starmer has created. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.